that's into space. I hope we go to Mars and all that stuff. To see that get turned into a way to transfer wealth from ordinary people who are just trying to save for retirement to people like Elon Musk is just depressing.
SpaceX is going public this month. It could be the biggest IPO in history.
It could also make Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire.
Millions of Americans like you and me are about to become SpaceX shareholders. We won't buy a single share.
The reason why I described it as a bag holder situation is because it feels like it's getting engineered to be one.
Bag holders, IPO, valuations. Sounds complicated. It's supposed to. But you don't need a finance degree to understand it. You need 10 minutes. The whole scheme hinges on something you've probably heard of. Index funds. A good chunk of American retirement savings are tied to them. You pick a fund, it picks an index, which picks the stocks. You don't think about it. That's the point. Index funds are supposed to be safe. Passive. The rules are the rules. Except, if you look closely, the rules seem like they're being rewritten to make people like Elon Musk fabulously wealthy at everyone else's expense.
Maybe. The rule changes really pissed me off. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Every piece of evidence we have is that the IPO is being engineered to rise very rapidly after it prices and then fall very dramatically after that. That is a recipe for retail investors especially to take large losses.
Here's how the scheme works and what you can do about it.
So are there really 3 hours of questions? Or has it, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. I can never get over how much he sounds like a fucking retard. Like, in addition to being one, like how much he sounds like one.
But saying things about companies that might go public, you know.
That's never been a problem for you, Elon.
You can't hype companies that might go public.
$1.75 trillion. That's the value Elon Musk has floated for SpaceX when it goes public this month. More than Walmart. Is it worth that?
SpaceX is a real company. It shoots satellites up in the sky. It provides things like Starlink. It's a very impressive engineering company.
That's Robin Wigglesworth, editor at the Financial Times.
There is definitely real business to be done there and real asset value there. The question is whether it is as large as Musk claims it is.
George Perkins advises investors where to put their money. Last year, SpaceX made about $19 billion. Most of it from Starlink and government contracts. But a company's market value is partially a bet on what that company will earn in the future. That bet is called a revenue multiple.
That might have been the historical argument, yeah.
Facebook went public at roughly 10 times its projected revenue. SpaceX is asking for over 50 times.
The combination of sheer size and this extreme multiple is completely unprecedented.
Based on the numbers that we know, that is absolutely batshit.
This valuation seems too good to be true. Some investors may need it to be. In 2022, Elon Musk raised $44 billion and bought Twitter. His backers, Andreessen Horowitz, a Saudi prince, the co-founder of Palantir, and Jack Dorsey, the guy who founded Twitter in the first place. Musk renamed it X, and within a year, it's worth less than half he paid. That's a problem. There was also a solution. AI was hot. Musk owned an AI company, so he merged X into XAI. No cash changed hands. X investors received XAI stock. But that solution raised another problem.
XAI is essentially a money furnace.
The solution? Musk has a rocket ship company. He uses it to buy XAI. Again, no cash exchanged. 3 companies, 2 mergers, $0 actually paid. Everyone who helped take Twitter private now holds SpaceX shares. Now, SpaceX isn't just a rocket company that sells internet. According to Musk, it's the future. Data centers in space.
If some of my predictions come true, SpaceX will launch more AI than the cumulative amount on Earth of everything else combined.
Yeah, it's just listen to literally every sentence out of his mouth. It's incredible. God almighty.
I see no evidence that it's a viable business opportunity. There are far too many physical challenges with doing this.
But the value has to hold, because so far, no one has been paid. Investor shares are only worth something on paper. To turn paper into cash, SpaceX has to go public. When a company goes public, it opens its doors. Early investors cash out, get paid for the risk they took. Everyone else gets a chance to own a piece of something that used to be off limits. It's called an initial public offering, or IPO for short.
It is a very normal part of a company's evolution and life cycle.
There isn't just Twitter investors here. SpaceX's original investors took a big risk. Peter Thiel, Palantir's other co-founder, Google, and Andreessen Horowitz. But SpaceX's IPO is anything but normal. In a typical IPO, 90% of shares go to institutional investors, pension funds, banks, insurance companies. Regular people get 10%.
SpaceX says they're changing that. 30% to ordinary people. Main Street, not Wall Street.
When you see an IPO give a far larger allocation
Those are the rubes, by the way.
to ordinary investors, it's usually a sign that they can't get professional investors to buy it at that price. The price is nuts. And if you can't sell it to professional investors, well, you sell it to unprofessional investors who don't know any better.
If people want to invest in SpaceX's IPO, that's their right. The problem is Musk found a way to make people invest in SpaceX whether they want to or not. How? Index funds.
The index fund is one of the rare examples of the finance industry coming up with something that lines the pockets of ordinary people and not Wall Street itself.
An index is a list. Someone decides which companies go on it. A fund is a basket. Someone builds it to mirror the list. When a company gets added to the index, every fund mirroring it has to buy shares. Not because they think it's a good investment, but because the rules require it.
A fucking $1 trillion, man. We could change the world with that money. Yeah, man. We could build 3 bridges in only 20 years with that money.
Index funds have both outperformed the vast majority of active managers in every market in every country over any time frame in the long run.
Thousands of indexes exist. Nearly a third of American stock is tied to one of them.
One of the most popular tracks the NASDAQ 100, the 100 biggest non-financial stocks on the NASDAQ exchange. Under NASDAQ's index rules, SpaceX isn't eligible to be included in the NASDAQ 100.
Index funds are actually quite good. Yeah, by and large, if you like, okay, I really don't know that much about retail investing, but my understanding is that if you want to get into it, your best bet is probably just to broadly invest in index funds. And if you really want to play around, reserve a small portion of your investment money that you are willing to lose and do your day trading there. Like the index funds are your general meat and potatoes. And if you want to go wacky with it with your goddamn retail day trading, only do that with a small portion of the money that you're investing.
100. New companies have to wait up to a year. It's called seasoning.
Seasoning a stock is just the process of having it trade publicly for a while. Public markets tend to be unsure of how to handle certain kinds of investments, novel sorts of companies really quickly.
Like a rocket company that makes most of its money providing satellite internet and wants to build AI infrastructure in space. If Musk could change that rule, he could trigger mandatory buying.
Genuinely, why would you want to buy more index funds if you don't think the country's going to last next 30 years? Well, it really depends on in what way the country collapses, but also things are never that simple. For one, I don't invest. I just have the damn Roth IRA. But for two, there's a million ways things could play out. It's very possible that investing is still a good strategy for building a nest egg. I don't know. No one knows how the future's going to play out.
Of SpaceX stock by every fund that tracks the index. This spring, NASDAQ changed their rules. This document
But yeah,
outlines
the country will still... Collapse doesn't mean everything just gets deleted. Everything will still be here, just worse.
the proposed changes to the NASDAQ 100 index. The most important, a fast entry rule. If a huge company goes public, it gets into the index in 15 trading days. No seasoning. There was a public comment period. Wall Street was for it. They say companies are more mature now, and these changes allow the index to better represent the market. The opposition came from regular investors, concerned about buying unproven companies at high prices. But the rule change isn't the goal. The goal is what the rule change enables. A plan with 4 different steps.
Yes, my Roth IRA is invested in the market. It's not that much money. The Roth IRA, I've only been contributing to it for a couple of years, because initially, like, I was a fucking dumbass live streamer with no financial education, so I was just sitting on the money, but now I contribute yearly, and now in total it's like, what, I don't know, 30K or whatever? Hardly a gigantic retirement nest egg.
Like everything, the price of a stock is based on supply and demand. How do you increase the price? 1. Artificial scarcity. Most IPOs offer 15 to 20%
30K is really far behind for 32. All right. Consider this a social lesson.
of their shares to the public. SpaceX, less than 5.
2. Of those shares, retail investors get 30%, or up to 3 times the normal allocation. Remember, Main Street over Wall Street.
Combined, a bunch of demand and a small supply. That means a higher than normal price. 3. 15 trading days after the IPO, SpaceX enters the NASDAQ 100. Any index fund tracking the NASDAQ 100 now has to buy SpaceX.
You have this wall of money coming from index funds that it has to buy no matter what the price.
Turbocharging the price. Step 4, let early investors cash out. There are restrictions on this, a lockup period. Same idea as seasoning. The people who know the most aren't allowed to sell until the market has had time to actually figure out what the stock is worth.
According to SpaceX's own IPO filing, Elon has to wait a year. But some early investors can begin cashing out before the standard 180 days. The people buying as the price rises.
You think 30K isn't a lot? Imagine 30K man in your house. Imagine 30,000 dicks in your ass, huh? Huh? Not so behind for 32 now, huh?
Retirement savers through index funds.
The people selling? If history is any guide, the original SpaceX, Twitter, and XAI investors.
I like to stay optimistic when I can, but the setup there is for some pretty abusive market manipulation. Legal, probably. Ethical, doubtful. And in fact, absolutely not.
None of this works without NASDAQ changing the rules. Musk made sure there was an incentive to do so.
NASDAQ is both an index provider and an exchange.
Ben Schifrin spent 18 years at the Security and Exchange Commission, which oversees the stock market.
I'm sorry. Saying you were behind was meant as constructive. All right, it was only a 24-hour mute, but you're having your damn medicine. Have a bit more to put in retirement. Look, I have more money than just 30K. It's just I don't have an account to put it in because I'm not confident investing in an index fund right now because I think that we're up against the wall a little bit, and I don't want to be the motherfucker that drops 200K on an index fund like 6 months before Trump comes out, says he's the money president, and collapses the economy. Like right now, yes, the annual returns are nil, okay? It's just sitting in savings. Is that a bad idea? Probably, I don't know. But I don't have a 401k to contribute to. I don't have tax-advantaged accounts to take advantage of except for the Roth IRA. But there's some stuff I can do. Do you have an HYSA? Don't worry about it. I do keep it in my mattress, okay? Yay, more to save. Use this on shoes, not index funds. Hey, that's an investment, okay? At least shoes are material. Thank you, Ben. If I could go back, I would have put much more of my money in index funds. The returns, especially with the NASDAQ, over the past 5 years have been, like, unbelievably high. Unsustainable. Bad for civilization. But I personally would try to cash in from that. Like, there's no reason why I wouldn't, you know, wouldn't try to. But right now, I feel like we are on the precipice of some bad financial times, and for that reason, I'm really hesitant to drop it on an index fund. If I could really go back in time, of course I would invest in NVIDIA before the AI bubble, but, like, we can't see the future. Yeah, I'd buy Bitcoin in 2010 or something. Keep in mind, everything that I'm describing right now is a component of the over-financialization of society. It is really, really bad that the best way to make money is just to play the market rather than, like, starting a business. If you have enough money for startup capital, like you have a $500,000, the fact that it is easily way better, smarter to just dump it in the market rather than, like, having a good business idea, even a really good bit, like, you could be a really good, smart businessman and do a phenomenal job and still make nowhere near the amount of money you would make just by dropping it in index and letting it grow. That is very bad for civilization. That's just not good for civilization. Every local business, every business you love, every cafe, every restaurant, it would have been smarter if the owner of those businesses had just dropped their startup capital in an index fund. That is fucked up. That is seriously fucked up. Every cafe you like, every place, every business, every bookstore, every record store, every restaurant, every one of them, if the owner had just taken that money and dropped it in an index fund rather than investing it in a business, they would have more money. It was financially irresponsible of them to produce the things that you love. That is not good.
You know, it kind of used to be the case that the exchange, wasn't really supposed to be this for-profit money-making entity, but now it is.
Two stock exchanges compete for every major listing, New York and NASDAQ.
For the NASDAQ stock exchange, having SpaceX is a big win. You want big, prestigious tech companies to go public there, and the New York Stock Exchange wants them to go public on the New York Stock Exchange.
SpaceX was the prize. Musk knew it.
Did Marx predict that? Yes. Explicitly.
According to Reuters, Musk conditioned where SpaceX would list on one thing: fast-track SpaceX into their major index.
It's all gravy for NASDAQ.
SpaceX pays NASDAQ to list their stock. The real money is somewhere else.
All the date and trading fees that they then sell over time, year after year, to other trading firms, to asset managers.
NASDAQ changed a rule that shapes trillions of dollars in retirement savings. No regulator approved it.
If an index wants to change how it's going to include certain stocks in that particular index, that is not something that has to be approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Upwards of $30 trillion is being directed by a process that's effectively self-regulated.
I think at some point we are going to have to say that these are incredibly influential investment advisors in practice, and they should be regulated.
It's most likely to follow how Facebook/Meta's IPO in 2012 happened. Yeah, probably. Please, as a retail investor, do not, this is not financial advice, but do not go in for the IPO. As the SpaceX IPO approaches, the 2012 Meta IPO comes to mind. For many millennials, it was our first big IPO and learning lesson. Wall-to-wall coverage on CNBC and Fox Business, huge retail excitement leading up to IPO day. Meta opened at 38, sold off to 18, and stayed underwater for over a year. Within 2 years, Meta was plus 50% IPO price. So, and we might not get that because that was 2012 and today is 2026. But yeah, you probably don't want to invest in the IPO. Sounds like a good short. Yeah, you know what? I just hit the button. Yeah, that was 2012 SpaceX. This is 2026. Oh, sorry, that was 2012 Facebook. This is 2026 SpaceX. Don't get it twisted.
Supervised accordingly.
Because it's not just SpaceX or NASDAQ.
You can see how, one index provider getting the ball rolling would perhaps lead other index providers to follow.
You've probably heard of the S&P 500. It's the most powerful index in the world. Bloomberg reported the S&P is considering its own version of what NASDAQ just did. They'd shorten the seasoning period, and they'd let the largest companies in without ever showing a profit. The reason isn't a mystery. OpenAI and Anthropic are both expected to go public this year at massive valuations. Neither is profitable. There's no regulator watching. The only check is the index provider's own internal comment process. NASDAQ just ran one of those. When I asked NASDAQ if the change was made because SpaceX demanded it, and if there's a conflict...
I'm behind, but you can start a self-employed 401k. Okay, but what would the benefit of that be? I'll keep in mind that doing a self-employed 401k would be so much fucking paperwork. I would need to get an accountant. Pre-tax dollars? I know, but I'd have to pay an accountant to do it. We're talking marginal benefits. It would probably still be worth it for the higher contribution limit and the fact that I could get a 401k at all. But just get a Roth IRA. There are contribution limits! You can match your contributions, but I'm the one matching them! It's already my money! I don't work for Google.
Of interest in being both an exchange and an index provider. NASDAQ never answered the conflict of interest question, but did say that the rule change reflects how markets have evolved. The consultation, they said, followed industry standards. The S&P is running the same playbook on the biggest index in the world. Their comment period is open. It closes in early June.
anyone can submit a comment, including you.
Just get another Roth IRA, I don't know. Yeah, sure, why not? Leftists are never beating the financially illiterate allegations. You should buy land. With the money I have saved up, I could afford like 10 square feet in Seattle. Also, land prices are 100% also in a bubble right now. Why does everyone say this is not financial advice? It's kind of a meme. There are like some legal reasons why people whose job is in finance are specific to say that they're not offering financial advice, because offering financial advice, it relates to a privileged relationship between a financial advisor and a client. So they don't want to open themselves up to that liability. But in reality, a random YouTuber does not need to say this is not financial advice if they're saying shit like what I'm saying. It's just common practice. Well, if you're a YouTuber and also you work in finance, then maybe it's a cover your ass thing. Legos are actually a good investment. That's what I'm telling myself about my jeans. About my jeans. You don't have an accountant, top 1% earner, no accountant. I'm a sole proprietor. My taxes are pretty simple. There's really just not that much tax loopholing that you can do if you're a sole proprietor. There just aren't many things you can do. Yeah, I'm not top 1%. You could start a religion? I like how Vosh pretends to be struggling. I'm not pretending. I'll just ban you. I don't need to. Oh my God. Everyone wants to. It's the reflexive. It's the reflexive animosity. You know. It's the resentiment. You want to fight me? I'm not your enemy, Bucko. I'm not your enemy. You guys want to see something that is directly a result of Trump? This one might actually affect you guys a lot more personally than any tank implosion. The price of a Steam Deck just skyrocketed. I know, it sounds trite, but boy, is that representative, huh? Valve has quietly raised the price for the Steam Deck by $200 as PC parts and memory chips continue to climb in price amid shortages caused by AI hyperscalers. Plus, I assume the general, tariffed environment. Yeah. Steam Deck OLED 1 terabytes up to $950, previously $650. Oh, that's up $300. And the 512 gigabyte is up $240. They undersold it with the $200 line right there. Sheesh. The Steam Deck itself hasn't changed, said Valve in a statement posted online. These new prices reflect the current state of component costs and other global logistical challenges across the industry as a whole. Man, Valve must have been like sitting on this price increase for quite a while for them to need to jump it so big, Like they've probably been needing to raise the price for a while and were hoping conditions change, and now they're like, well, fuck, I guess we have to commit. We'll keep you updated if anything changes. Hey. Valve selling older refurbished Steam Deck LCD models for under $400. Once you go OLED, especially on a mobile device, you never want to go back. In my humble opinion. What about the Switch 2? I guess the Switch 2 has gone up by $50? According to Alia88 in chat. Gonna be 500 September. In September, gotcha. I haven't noticed a damn thing since I switched to OLED only on gaming monitors. Really? I don't think OLED matters as much when you're talking about a computer monitor because you're right up there. There's probably not that much glare behind you. But if for a mobile device, the difference is huge. Mobile device and TV, because for a TV you don't control, there's usually more glare coming from, you know, the back room. Why does this say 1300? Is this a different currency? Oh, okay, yeah, different currency. All right. C. This is for C. Canada? Well, that might be what it's referring to. You don't know. Could be any kind of C. How much in Robux? I'm not sure. How much in Bitcoin? Sorry, gamers. This is real life. The AI company gets the computer parts. By the way, Roblox now mandates you give your ID to Palantir to play literally any game. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Honestly. CPUs are next to spike as manufacturers are switching to data center production. Sure, man. No one's ever building a computer ever again. Thankfully, all the best games are pixel art anyway. Except for, I don't know, Subnautica 2? I hear that one's good. How's your PC update doing? Still full of cat hair, because they keep sitting on it. What are you going to do? Meta's cutting 1,400 jobs in Seattle, I believe. Or at least partially in Seattle. Right now, Mark Zuckerberg has his fucking yacht parked in Lake Union. They just laid off 8K last week? Yeesh. Going through the Ballard locks. The entryway into Seattle. Good lord, that thing is big. $300 million yacht.